On my 65th birthday, I sat alone at my dining table, surrounded by gold balloons and a chocolate cake I'd baked myself. My phone lit up with a message from my son, Raul. It said, "We have more important things to do, Mom." The words were like a shard of ice. By the next morning, I had 51 missed calls, but all I felt was a cold, hard clarity as I remembered how it all began. 6 months earlier, Raul and his wife Veronica had shown up at my door, beaming with excitement and holding a folder of papers. They wanted to buy a house, they said, the perfect place for their daughter, my granddaughter, Maria. All they needed was 120,000 pesos to complete the down payment. Veronica looked me in the eye and promised they would pay me back in 6 months without fail. I trusted them completely. I went to the bank, withdrew my life savings, and signed the documents Raul handed me, which he explained were just for taxes. I had no idea I was signing away my home entirely. For a while, things were wonderful. They sent me photos of the renovations, invited me to lunch, and asked my opinion on paint colors. I felt like we were closer than ever before. But then came my birthday. I'd prepared a full dinner, the table set for 3, and waited for hours. When I finally called Raul, he canceled, his voice flat and dismissive. Then he sent that cruel message. Something inside me snapped. A few days later, the full truth came out by accident. My granddaughter Maria was telling me about her day and let it slip. She'd overheard her father on the phone, telling someone they were already selling my house. Stunned, I pulled out the papers I had signed months before. With trembling hands, I read the fine print. I hadn't co-signed a loan. I had legally donated the house to them. My heart sank. A sick feeling grew in my stomach, so I did a quick search online for the address. Dere Itua, my house, listed for sale at 180,000 pesos. The photos showed brand new appliances, expensive marble floors, and luxury fixtures. All the results of the money that was supposed to be a loan, the money they were supposed to pay back. I scrolled through social media and found Veronica boasting about how their hard work had paid off, claiming the house as their own. In another post, Raul flaunted a new car, a beach trip, and fancy dinners. It was all a lie, funded by my life savings. I decided I had to confront them. The next morning, I drove to the house I had paid for. Veronica answered the door in a silk bathrobe. Looking startled to see me, when I mentioned the online listing, the color drained from her face. Inside, surrounded by their expensive new furnishings, she tried to act calm. "Everything is legal, Ines," she said, her voice steady, but her eyes betraying her panic. She insisted the house was theirs, and they had to sell because Raul got a new job offer in Guadalajara. Then, she delivered the final blow. With a tone of chilling condescension, she suggested I should consider moving into a retirement home for my own safety. That single sentence erased any doubt, any lingering hope I had. I walked out without another word and drove straight to the office of an attorney, Esteban Morales. After he listened to my story, his expression grew serious. He explained that I was a victim of familial financial abuse. He also pointed out that the property transfer Raul and Veronica had executed violated a mandatory waiting period. I had 48 hours to revoke it. I didn't hesitate. I acted immediately. By that evening, the house was legally back in my name. The next morning, before Raul and Veronica had any idea what was happening, I sold it. A cash buyer offered 190,000 pesos, and I accepted on the spot. It wasn't long before my phone rang. It was Raul, his voice frantic, shouting. I calmly informed him that the house had been sold. "By me!" "For 10 minutes," he cried. He begged. He threatened. I listened, and then I hung up. For the first time in months, I felt a sense of peace. That afternoon, they showed up at my door, Raul, Veronica, and Maria. They pounded on the door, yelling about their rights, while they screamed. I calmly packed a suitcase. I spoke through the closed door, warning them that getting the police involved would only expose their fraud, especially with all their social media posts bragging about the lavish lifestyle they couldn't afford. I heard Maria start to cry, telling them she didn't know anything about it. My heart broke for her. I opened the door just enough to pull her into a hug. "This is between the adults," I whispered to her. Then I left for a quiet hotel in the mountains. The calls didn't stop. Dozens a day. Then they escalated things. Veronica posted a 40-minute video online titled, "When a Mother Destroys Her Own Family for Money." In it, they painted me as a greedy, abusive monster. The video went viral. I immediately called my lawyer. He had more news for me months past. The legal battle was draining, but justice eventually prevailed. Both Raul and Veronica were fined heavily and sentenced to community service. The prestigious job in Guadalajara vanished. The media outlets that had shared their story printed retractions. I used the money from the sale to move to a small, quiet coastal town and started rebuilding my life. One day, a letter arrived. It was from Maria. 6 pages, filled with apologies. She told me she had moved out of her parents' home, unable to stand their constant fighting and lies. She ended the letter with, "If you can ever forgive me and want to see me, I'll be waiting. I love you, Grandma." The tears finally came, but they weren't tears of pain. They were tears of release. I wrote back immediately and invited her to spend the summer with me. Raul never apologized. Veronica tried once, but I blocked her number. They were simply people I no longer needed in my life. A few months later, a package arrived from Maria. Inside was a framed photo of the two of us, smiling on the beach. Below the picture, she had written, "Thank you for teaching me that standing up for yourself isn't selfishness, it's survival." I placed it on my windowsill, where I could see it every day, and felt a peace wash over me like the tides outside my window. 2 years went by. Then one afternoon, my doorbell rang. It was Maria, standing there with a suitcase. She had grown into a confident young woman. She told me she'd earned a full scholarship to study marine biology at the local university and asked if she could stay with me. "Of course," I said, pulling her into my arms. "This house has been waiting for you." That evening, as we cooked dinner together, she confessed that she no longer spoke to her parents. They had tried to use her to get money from me again, and when she refused, they turned cruel. She looked at me, her eyes filled with uncertainty. "Am I a bad person, Grandma?" she asked. "No, my love," I told her, holding her hand. "The families we choose can matter more than the ones we're born into. You chose honesty." That night, as the moon shone over the ocean, I thought of the woman I used to be, the one waiting at an empty birthday table. That woman had been shattered, but from those broken pieces, someone stronger had emerged. A text from a neighbor popped up on my phone. "Beautiful to see a family that truly loves each other." I smiled. Yes, I thought, a real family, built not on obligation, but on respect, boundaries, and a love that doesn't demand self-sacrifice. Sometimes, to save what truly matters, you must have the courage to walk away from what doesn't. Thanks for listening to my story. If you, or someone you know, is going through a difficult time, remember that there is help available, and you are not alone. Please, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.